obviously 4-0 defeat, not the ideal preparation going into such a big game.
Yeah, not great. We've had a good look at that, and the last 2 days have been good. Probably since the World Cup. The World Cup break probably wasn't an ideal time for us, but we need to get back into our stride quickly. As I said, the last couple of days has been good. They're very aware as a group of where the improvement needs to come from and what needs to happen for us to turn this around. And look, there's probably no better game for them to go into to turn it around than Melbourne Victory. I think traditionally, there's always been a lot of feeling in this match. So look, we're going to have to be at our very best. But as I say, it's been a good start to the week.
What were the main takeaways from that loss then? What were you not happy with?
Look, I just think, taking nothing away from Mariners, I think they're a very good side. But for large parts, the first half mainly, we allowed them to dictate. We wanted to be on the front foot, and we're a little bit passive. So from that, we've had to address that. And as I said, there's been good acknowledgement from the boys and a good response.
It's hard to ignore the fact 3 red cards in 5 games. To Isuzu is obviously, what do you make the 3-game ban, and what's behind these red cards? Is it just purely over exuberance?
Yeah, look, there's I think first and foremost, Isuzu is a very experienced player, and he's probably. I think we're all aware now that in the league and the way that it's refereed, you can't put yourself into a position to allow the referee to send yourself off. And obviously after the first half that we'd had, I think he's come out and sort of wanted to set the tone a little bit. A little bit unfortunate. I think 3-game ban. Obviously we'll have to have a look and see exactly what's happened, because to be totally honest, Corny, I wasn't aware till you just mentioned it that it was 3 games. But like I said, he's experienced, and ultimately you expect him to know a little better.
3 games is a long ban. That sort of thing happens for something pretty serious. Now you know it is 3. You've seen the incident, I'm sure. Do you think it's something that warrants excess of the red card?
Look, again, I think you have to look across the league, not just at our send-offs. I mean, I don't know exactly off the top of my head the comparison to this time last season. But it feels like there's been a lot of red cards, 3 over the weekend. Early on in the season, there was a lot. Look, for me, it's not exactly clear, the ruling excessive force and things like this. And, if I'm not exactly clear on it, then, there's probably a little bit of confusion amongst the players as well.
Do you have any sense to change this year, just from watching on, whether it's that they've been told to referee harsher or?
Yeah, I don't know if it's about refereeing harsher. We were made aware of, certain changes at the start of the season, but, these changes come in and that's all well and good, but that doesn't, the players have been playing the game for a long time, so you can make these changes, doesn't mean these changes are going to be implemented by players instantly, because it's very hard to change the type of player you are overnight.
Who's an ideal replacement for him? They miss at least one, I would have thought, even if...
Yeah, look, we're fortunate in that area. We have obviously Louis and Ethan, who's been doing well. I feel the young boys, as I said, this week's been very good so far. A lot of intensity in the training and an excellent response. So, I'm sure Carl will take his time this week in making that decision. But as I said, there's definitely options there.
Would you make changes, like aside from the force change, would you make changes after a performance and result like that, just to shake it up, give other blokes a go, let some in the team know that it's not just their spot?
Yeah, it's not about just giving everyone sort of a go. I think everyone needs to earn their place as well. And, obviously, we're 4-0, you're not going to walk away happy from that. So, as I said, everybody's now fighting for a spot this week. Whether there's changes come Saturday, we'll have to wait and see. It's a long week and we're still a few days out.
Ex-Victory captain, mate, what are your memories of this fixture?
As a player, good. You always come to Highmarsh, and it was always a fantastic crowd, fantastic atmosphere. As I said, they've always been big games. I think as a player, I was fortunate. Always from the very first year when I was at Sydney, coming to Adelaide was always a difficult place to come. Not only because of the team and the players, but because of the fans and the support that they get. I think that's been shown again this year. The fans have been fantastic so far. Our performances at home have been, good, just with the one slight mishap there. But we expect the same come Saturday. Saturday night game, good time, good weather. big crowd, and as I said, Victory coming here, you know, everybody's always up for it.
No Victory supporters, obviously, in terms of active support. How will that change the atmosphere, do you think?
Oh, look, hopefully not too much. Obviously, it's disappointing for them that you know, there's not that little corner bay. But from our perspective, we expect a lot of, you know, red shirts all around, and you know, I'm sure we'll have as many in that sort of section as possible. It's more, especially this week, it's more about us and what we do, and the fans only add to that.
Putting the Victory polo back on just for a second in your mind, do you feel disappointed with where they're at, rock bottom performances, things going on off field? How would you feel if you're back in your old position?
Look, I feel for the league. You know, I think we all want the best for the league, and Victory is a big part of that, as all clubs are. I think when you talk about Hindmarsh and our fans being here in numbers, it's the same with Melbourne. You need Victory fans in numbers showing their support for the game. As I said, you know, we are very, very focused on what we do, and we're very focused on Adelaide United, but you know, we also care for the game in our country, and we want it to thrive. So whatever ends up happening there, you want it fixed quickly, because as I said, they're an important cog in Australian football in general.
The form for Victory not great, obviously started the season really well. As a former player, you're obviously mates with Lee Robson. I don't know if you've spoken to him, but you know, the last couple of weeks since the crowd incident, how big an impact do you reckon that's had on the playing group?
Yeah, look, it's difficult to say. You know, I think they've had the one home game since. They still had members. But look, as I say, in this league as well, home games are so important. So yeah, look, I've not put too much thought to it, to be honest. So it is disappointing for them. But like I said, it's more important for the league that this is resolved quickly, and everyone can move on as a game.
Do you think damage has been done to the league and to Victory sort of the longer this all goes on, and this infighting that we seem to have in Australian football?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, you want the resolution to happen quickly. As soon as that happens, you can move on. The game will survive, but we need to not only survive, we need this game in this country to thrive. We're coming off the back of a wonderful World Cup, some fantastic performances, some homegrown talent playing in the A-League, coming back to play again. We want the very best for all of them. So that's important. Like I said, this needs to be put to bed. We need to be able to focus on what's coming. We need to be able to focus on the future. And as I said, honestly, we are very focused on ourselves, but we want this game to do well.
Last one on that, Victory. You think that even if they do, you know, got massive sanctions and it's points and whatnot, and it ruins the season for them today, you think that their fans will still, like, you know, their supporter base better than us, you think that their fans will still show up, rally behind them, and they'll still be the strong club that they have been for the entirety of the A-League?
Yeah, look, I'm sure they will survive. As I said, this isn't, you know, there's been similar situations, not exactly the same, where, you know, teams have had to go through this, but most importantly, it's what happens on the pitch. I think Australian football fans in general have shown, while it's nice, things like big players coming back or coming to this country, I think most important to Australian fans is just a team that fights for each other, fights for their fans, and plays decent football. So that'll be most important, that you know, that happens.
Speaking of people coming to the country, I don't know if you're privy to many conversations about if the Reds are up to much in the transfer window. Is there anything that you could see happening, or a need that perhaps would be filled in an ideal world?
No, look, in an ideal world, there'd be no salary cap. There'd be no, everyone would have. Look, at the moment, we're obviously, you know, looking. What happens, I'm not too sure. We're very much focused on the squad that we have. As we said, we've got a lot of young players that have been doing extremely well. Some have been given their chance already, and some are sort of waiting, working hard. So the focus at the moment is the squad that we have, and what we do to turn this, I guess, small slump around.